Okay, we're live all across the internet. I can see that we are on Twitter, and we can see that we're also on another Twitter, and that we are on YouTube, and that we are on LinkedIn, and that we are on Facebook, and another Facebook, and another Facebook. How are you, Jerome?
Great, man. How are you?
Good. As you know, I just ran back just now because my little girl has some fever, so I had to go and pick her up from daycare, and literally ran back to make it in time for this broadcast
Mhm.
because we have an exciting announcement to make, right?
We do indeed, and I'm very excited. Can't wait for people to see it. I guess nobody really knows about it apart from internally, right? And a
Right.
couple of other like sponsors and everything. But yeah, nobody really knows.
Well, about the release, first of all, and well, the release is already live, so people can go in to their Adarim dashboard already and check out version 3.6 that is now live. And we're gonna go through some of those features that are in here. We have a Facebook user, but he's not really certain. I see like two dots. He's like, "Hi,
Hi.
yeah, hi." Like he's not sure, and I think he's from India, but I'm not sure if it's the same person. So please make sure that you click the StreamYard button to make sure that we can see who you are. And I can see we have quite a few people joining us already. So come say hi in the comment section. We'd love to see who's joining us already. And without further ado, while we're waiting for people to tell us where they're connecting from and how their day is going, if they have if they have a little girl with 39.6 degrees just outside.
Whoa, really? It was that high?
Yeah.
Whoa, that's really high, man. That's like a
I-
seizure-inducing
no, she's
fever.
fine. She got some calpul, and
Oh yeah.
she's singing songs. I can hear her singing.
And she got
Uh,
to go home early, man. Of course she's happy.
yeah, Frère Jacques is happening over there.
Hey, Ryan.
And I don't know if there is a stream. I think the StreamYard link is already happening from there, so you can have a look inside. But how you doing, Ryan? And how you doing, Prabat? And got Todd joining us here as well. How are you guys? And got a bunch of you people. What's up, Leia? I'm gonna talk about a feature that Leia has built, and we have Disha joining us.
The live
All right,
inside the community isn't
how are you,
working
Disha?
somehow. Some problem in the
Oh,
community.
isn't working.
I think we had this issue previously, if I recall correctly,
Yeah, but I
where
can see that it is. You are live inside the community. So, Disha, if you see that, please take the link from YouTube, share it inside the community so everyone in there can join us and have a party. So, let's see what's going on. That is the link. Okay, we have Doreen. How are you, Doreen? Yes, we found the link. We found the link. Perfect. Cool. So, let's see what we have, Jerome. You up for it?
yes, I'm ready. Let's do it.
So what's coming? Version 3.6. So as you know, every month we release some kind of a huge version. And that includes usually a couple, one or two or three major features that we're launching, bringing to our platform, along with a bunch of additional bug fixes, stability updates, and all of those kind of things. One of the main things before we get into the sexy stuff that we have here, one of the main things that we did this year is a complete overhaul of the server. That was a quite a thing for you, Jerome, wasn't it?
Yes, it's been a very it's been fun, honestly. It has actually been fun. Like I've been learning a lot. DevOps was something I never considered before. But as we are growing and we've got a pretty massive user who is really testing us.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, we've done a massive overhaul of the server. Before it was like a monolith. So before we had back end, front end, and that database all on one server, which is pretty standard for a small app. But now front end and back end is separate to the database. So we're only pulling for the database, and there's a bunch of other stuff.
Okay. I'm not gonna
Load
bore with the details.
balancers. Yeah, loads of stuff.
I already started glazing over.
Yeah, sorry, I won't bore everyone with it. But yeah, the server is, and we're continuing. We're continuing to make sure the experience, no matter how big, a million people on the app, it will still run as expected. That's the plan, so we can scale up as much as we need to.
Yes. And with that in mind, we discovered this week that we have passed the 1 million users.
Yes.
So we have 12,000, more than 12,000 agencies and freelancers, basically accounts that are working with 1.2 million customers inside the Adorim dashboard, which is insane. It passed the 1 million mark this month, with that velocity, we're probably going to be at 2 million pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So this is awesome, and it's a huge milestone, Jerome. We were so stressed out about a bunch of different things that were happening that we
Yeah,
didn't
I know.
take a second to
I
even
saw the
recognize.
number and I was like, "Is that Oh, it's 120,000. Okay, yeah, cool." And I was like, "Oh no, there's another digit there." And then I'm just thinking like, I hope they all don't create tasks at the same time. That was my first thought of. I'm
Yeah,
surprised we are able to handle that many people. But yeah, it's insane. It's crazy.
yeah, 1.2 million. Yeah, let's keep tracking this and see how fast can we get to 2, or let's 10x it, Jerome. How can we get to 10 million? That's the next question, right?
Yeah,
Next
yeah.
meeting.
I'll do some research and let you know on Friday.
So what we have with the major update coming that was just released. Thanks a lot, Todd. Um, and we got George joining us. What's up, George? We have automation. This is huge. This is a game changer, really. We're gonna demo this feature that will allow you guys to build, or you all to build workflows inside the Adorim dashboard. It's kind of like our internal Zapier, but on steroids, and that allows for really cool stuff to happen inside. We're gonna see that. And then we have image annotations. So we're going to feature this one as well. And I'm not going to talk too much, just going to give the highlights. We have website caching that sped up our main KPI, which is speed to collaboration, right? That's our main thing in the platform. How can we get speed to collaboration faster and faster and faster? So we unlocked a huge milestone with that this last week as well. And we have a special announcement at the end that I'm waiting for everyone to. I'm looking forward to share with everyone, and stick around with us until the end. I don't think it's going to be a long broadcast today, even though we
No,
can stretch it, but we're not gonna.
no.
So, image annotations, Jerome, over to you. What is this?
Yeah, sure. So if you bring up my screen, so of course with Atherim is all about getting you and your client on the same page, literally. So what this feature does is it gives you, with the tasks, I can be very specific with what I'm choosing. But let's say, for example, I think this red iPad should be green, for example. And now I can say it like this, I can say, make this iPad green. But still, it's not like super clear. It can be clearer. So with this icon now inside the comment box, if I click this takes a picture or takes a screenshot of your current view, and now I can annotate over it. Very similar to like an extension called Nimbus on Chrome, if you ever use that.
Screenshotting tool, basically.
Exactly, yeah. So now I can literally go this one specifically,
Right.
change this to green. And when I publish this, it puts it inside the task. And now I've given a bit more context what I'm asking for here. And this is quite a crude example. But let's say, for example, I want to change the color of this lovable, drawable, magical. Now, the way this site is built, the way we are hovering this is based on the div. And the way this site's built, it's a bit tricky. So I can't actually select this drawable thing. Because if I click this, it's going to do it in the center, which is what's happened to this one. So now what I can do is I can click this one and say change drawable to italic, for example. And I've actually seen, people using it this way for especially text, because it makes it very easy. And I can do this, just to make it absolutely clear what I'm saying. And especially with some of our users, what they're doing is they're being more vague in the first comment, and then they're using the annotation to make it clearer.
Yes, so that gives another layer of information for every communication that we can have in there. But one of the cool things, or I think the main advance, because everyone knows about screenshot tools.
Of
We all.
course.
I
Yeah,
think you even have one installed over there. You have Nimbus installed
I
on
have
your
Nimbus
browser right
installed.
there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But the cool thing, or the kind of the special thing about this, is that you don't need to install anything. It's just built into the collaborate screen, which means that when we're working with clients that are less savvy, we're not, well, what are we going to do? We're going to tell them, please now also install a Chrome
Yes,
extension, or install this Mac app to take a screenshot. And even that is a hassle. And many
I
many
agree.
clients are resisting this. But right now, all they need to do is they just click this one icon, and boom, straight away they can annotate the whole thing, add comments, and everything right where the work happens.
Yeah, and I think even something like Nimbus, like you kind of need to know what you're doing with it. Like even to take this screenshot, right? Like, do I want to
Yes.
take the selected area? Do I want to take the visible part of the page? Do I want to take the entire page? Some things you can't scroll, so if I take like a picture of my entire Google, like a Google email, the scroll messes it all up and then the screenshot is completely ruined.
Right.
So it's like you kind of need to know what you're doing. Whereas with us, it's just one click and it just, we're
Boom.
doing all the work for them basically.
Yes. Yeah, and it's in there. You can go ahead and start using this right now. This is rolled out inside the URL based collaboration. We're going to get some feedback, make sure that this is working as intended in there. And maybe later on, this is going to be rolled out into the WordPress plugin as well.
Yes.
But for now, I think that was the question from George, because George, I think that you're using mostly the WordPress plugin. This is happening on the URL based mostly here.
And yeah,
Um,
just to answer George's question, it existed already, George, but we had it kind of hidden because we did it specifically for like an enterprise user. And then because the feature, it is such a great idea, then we moved it from like being kind of hidden to being directly on the popover to
feature
make it more
for
obvious.
everyone.
And we made it a bit more robust as well to be useful
Yes.
for everyone. So that's why it's yeah. So yeah, it's there right now. We released it this morning. Or yesterday
Okay.
morning, sorry.
Yesterday, yes. So okay, we have Doreen here asking a question. I'm new in testing Adoring. Is there a good resource area for me to learn what it does? I'm having a little difficult finding them. So first of all, let's book you a meeting with Jerome to make sure that we show exactly what is going on. So I think I'm just going to drop in a URL. Oh, it's not going to work really. So Disha
Um
is gonna
yes.
catch you, Doreen, inside Facebook, and gonna give you a link to book a demo with Jerome. That's the best way. But if anyone else wants to learn more, then feel free to come and visit our YouTube channel. There's many resources happening that you can learn from in there. And where else? There's so
Help.
much training every help, right? So if you go to um, Adorain /help center or help. Oh, I'll let you pull this up because you have the screen over there already loaded up.
Yeah, sure. Only thing I would say, so the help, we do need to expand on it. We are constantly working on it, because we build so fast, we do
Yes.
try our best to keep it up to date. And I am planning to um, add all of the new stuff that we've done in this release here in the next couple, maybe in the next week, it'll probably be added. But yeah, this is the link you
Yeah.
want /help.
So,
And if you
from
are,
here you can book a Zoom call right there on top. If you have
on
any
here.
questions, and as well as join the community, ask some questions in the community, start a live chat, and of course watch stuff on YouTube as we are live right now.
Yes,
Okay, I hope that's cool, Doreen. Yes, thank you. Perfect. Thank you. And then let's move on to the next awesome feature that we have for you guys today, for you all today. I'm trying to fix my the way that I address people. Create your own customized, especially for today. It's a
International Women's
International
Day.
Women's Day. Yes, so
Yeah.
no more guys, right? It's you all, everyone, team. So, customized automations. Create your own customized workflows with if and then automations. Let's see how that works. Or what's the why, Jerome? Why do we need this thing?
So there's a great thing or a great example that I think just sums it up entirely. If let's say, for example, I go onto a client's website and they've left me 50 tasks and I've completed all of those tasks, and then the client sees they're all done, but then for some reason they go into a task and they mark it, or sorry, they go into a task and they comment on it, but they don't mark it as open, or they don't mark it as back to pending review or anything like that. They just put it as, a new comment. It's very likely that I'm going to miss that comment because I just think I'm done, right? But with the automations, I can set it up so if they do that, I can email myself, or I can put it back to open, or I have so many different options to
Yes.
customize the way I'm using the platform.
Yeah. So really, the way that I like to look at this is that when we designed Adarim, we did this with the mindset of, here you go, a process in a box. You don't need to think too much. You don't need to be a project manager to remove 50 to 80% of the time that it takes to build websites, because the thing just works for you. If you confine with the bounds of the way that we designed the flow. But as we're growing and as we have more different and really interesting use cases of the app, then we want to give more flexibility. And this is freedom. Maybe we should change the name. It's not automation, it's freedom,
Yeah.
right? I like that. That's like, you click the freedom button, because then you can really do whatever you like. Like Jerome, you mentioned that you can do like, if the task, if a new comment is added, change the task, and the status is marked as complete, change the status back to open. Or if a task is marked as urgent, assign this to this particular person because he's the guy that deals, or the person that deals with all of the urgent stuff. Or if something is marked as pending review, assign it to this person because they are the QA, right? So you can really map out all of those kind of things and create really awesome automations. Let's see how it works.
Yeah, go for it. So please excuse the icons. The icons are not loading for some reason, but I've already reported this to the team. And also keep in mind that this is still in beta. So we're going to have way more options, and we're going to be adding options weekly. These are the ones that are done for now. And we encourage you to go in and test it out. Give us your feedback in the community. Let us know what's working, what doesn't work. And we are going to be basically, I would say this is a project for the rest of the year for us, and we're going to continually improve it. But for now, we have set up some templates, and they are sort of, so if I want to, these are the ones I think are really useful. So for example, when a task is completed and when task urgency is set to critical, then notify people. So my thinking is, if a task is set to critical, I want to email my client straight away to let them know that this urgent task is done.
Yes.
And if I want to use this one, I just click here, and then it gives me, it's basically just setting up the options for you, and then I can select the user. I can put the title of the email, the message, stuff like that. This one's a bit tricky for me to show you, but the one I want to show you how it works is, sorry, when the task is complete, is the one I spoke about. So it's in comment. Yeah, this one. So when a comment is added and when a task is set to complete, then change the status to open. So if I click this one, now, right now, you can't select to do this across all websites because we wanted to give you guys a chance to just test it on singular ones. But this is coming in an update next week. So for now, you can choose a couple. But for now, I'm going to do it on Polypane, this website that we have here. So if I select this, so we see when a comment is added and the task is set to complete, then change it to open. So if I create this automation, we can then see it here. I think I might have created it to test. So let me delete one of them. So now, if I go to Polypane, which I have open here, and let me just give it a refresh. So if I complete this task, and then I put a comment on it, so hello. So, and this is one of the improvements we will make, and we're going to make quite quickly, is that right now, it won't show on here but it will show here. So this doesn't update, but the task does update when you refresh. So now if I refresh this without changing the status or anything,
And when you're coming into it, you're gonna come into it when it's
when
already
it's
updated.
changed.
Yes.
Exactly. So you kind of don't need to see it instantly anyway, especially in this case. But everything does happen instantly. It just might not be completely apparent when you're looking at the actual dashboard. But
Which
now we
is
can
one of
see,
the overhaul that we're working on with the goal of finishing this by our fourth birthday
yes,
in June, which is React everything, right?
react everything. Exactly.
Yeah, everything should
Exactly.
react. Or we called it real time everything, right?
Yeah,
That's
real
the
time
tagline
everything.
that we have internally. So
Yeah, exactly.
everything is gonna be real time. All of those little bits and pieces. No more refresh. That's like 2023 is there's no reason to hit the refresh button in 2023 anymore, and we
Yeah.
need to bring the app up to this standard, which this is exactly what we're working on.
Yeah, exactly. And we're slowly doing that as well. And I'll just show you, and I know this is nothing related, but just the difference in, when you used to archive a site, you used to refresh the whole page. Now it just archives it. Stuff like
Yep.
that is
Yeah,
what we're doing. Yeah.
one by
Um,
one at a time. There's a
one
bunch.
at a time. Exactly. Yeah, there's loads. But as you can see, I put a comment after it was completed, and because of the automation, this then became open again.
Yep.
Um, so you can see doing this, you can create, like Vito said, it's out of the box, but you have complete freedom to do what you want in terms of customizing the way the front end, well, anything is going to be used, because we're going to have integrations in here. We're going to have time entries. We're going to have every single feature that is inside the app will be available for you to customize in automations, and that's what we're going to be doing throughout the rest of the year. I'm planning on releasing at least 5 a week, 5 new triggers with conditions per week. That's the plan.
So I added this little widget here to show, or this little mock-up here to
Great.
show where we're going with this, really. And the idea is that, first of all, you're going to have a bunch of those featured ones, which I think there's already a bunch of them in there. But on the left side, you can see all of the possibilities that we're going to be releasing one at a time, on a daily basis, and maybe a few days at a time, and just like pushing those things out. Right now, I think there's about a third of them, but there's a lot more that we can do. For example, the first one is the feature. Then we have the status that already exists. Urgency already exists. Assignees already exist. But what about time entries? Tracking time based on different actions that happen, or maybe when a task is marked as complete, stop the timer straight away, so you don't need to
Yeah.
go and do those kind of things. Another thing that we have here, and this is, project stages is, I think, one of our unsung heroes in the app, because people don't see the huge power that project stages have yet. But hopefully this will allow people to understand how powerful this feature is. Basically, project stages allow you to map out your entire workflow at the beginning of the project, or at any time of the project. That allows you to then signal to the client when things needs to get done by. So right now, we are many project management systems have milestones that are very similar to this concept, but it's never communicated out to the client or to the stakeholder. So the team has internally that the revision round has to end by Friday of this week, but the client never knows, so they don't do anything about it. So we kind of brought this information over to the client through a live timer that runs on the bottom bar of the Atarim dashboard, or all the plugin, or everywhere else. But the cool thing here, and imagine this: when a project stage is if a project stage is 24 hours before the due date, send an email to the client to notify them that they have only 24 hours. If the project stage is has ended, send an email to the client to tell them what's going on. Let's get this sorted, and then maybe send an email every hour after that, to let them know that the time has passed and they need to do their revisions, or they need to provide the content, or anything like this. So really, the project stages plus emails create auto follow-ups, and you can map out those entire things for yourselves, however you would like to create them. Another thing that would be really cool with project stages, in this concept is that, for example, every time that you add a new website, add all of these project stages to the website, so that, or project, so that, for example, if you have a standard flow, which a lot of us do, you have discovery and whatever, sitemap, wireframes, revision 1, revision 2. Instead of doing it again and again every time, you can create an automation that every time a project is added, add a project stage, add all the project stages that will be added into this thing in one go. Another cool thing in here is to do actions based on tags. If I add a tag that is called future task, send me an email in a month from now about this task. So you can do all kinds of really, really, really cool stuff in here based on this. And finally, and I think it's one of the biggest one, is integrations, where it allows you to use up these this connection with all of the internal integrations that we have created, with whether it's a Slack or ClickUp or Asana or Teamwork. We're still waiting for Teamwork to come back to us, or Trello or Basecamp or whatever, all of those ones. You can create those, you can use those automations and those triggers to build out workflows. So let's say if I create a project in ClickUp, then add a task list to a project in Adarim. If I add a tag inside an Adarim task, change or deploy a task list inside a ClickUp project, whatever. The sky is the limit with all of this kind of stuff. And you can see a few of the other examples that we have here. When a tag is added, change task to urgency to urgent. And we talked about when a project stage is past due date, send an email. When a task is added, post to a Slack channel, specifically a specific Slack channel, as a rule, always. So really, that's why I'm so excited about this, because this is not workflow automation. We're gonna change the name, Joe.
Well, we're gonna change it to freedom.
Freedom.
Freedom. Workflow freedom is that what we're gonna call it?
Yeah. Cool. Moving on. Anything else
Yes.
you want to add on this?
No. I mean, you summed it up perfectly. There's no more to say, really.
Awesome. Cool. So next up. Oh, where am I going back? I'm going back.
You're going back. So the next one is I can kind of show it by this. I mean, the site's going to load in like 5 seconds instead of 1 second. It's going to show that it didn't make any difference. So I kind of just want to talk about this one vaguely, like briefly. There's no reason for me to show anything, but with this one, essentially what we were doing every time you added a website, so you add a URL based website, we scrape the HTML and we show you it in an iframe. That's how that works. But every time you clicked on that project that already exists, if it's URL based, we scraped it again. And if you refresh, we scraped it again. And what this was doing was, one, it makes it load slower, and it was killing our servers with the more usage that was happening. Now, the first time you scrape a site, we are storing it in a database. We're storing all of that HTML. And then when you go back to it, instead of scraping, we are pulling from that data. We're pulling that entry from the database. If you add a site again with the same URL, it will scrape it still and create another entry. So it's per project. It's not per URL.
Yes.
And obviously, there's the concern with what happens when you what happens when you archive a site. When you archive a site, we delete it from the database. So when you bring it back, it will be the latest version. The refresh icon in the bottom left also refreshes the cache now as well. So if you've updated the website and you are seeing the cached version inside Collaborate, click the refresh icon and it will scrape it one more time, and then you will get the latest version of the site. And you can imagine we had thousands of people adding sites per day, refreshing. It was just insane. We were scraping so much HTML when we didn't need to. So now it's really, really lightened the load on the server and also made it load faster. And we are continuing to optimize the scraping as well with containerization of the scraping and yada, yada. I won't go into too much detail, but that is what this is about. And it is actually a massive milestone. It's the least sexy thing ever in terms of the actual app, but I'm hoping you guys will actually feel the impact when you are working with the URL-based collaboration.
Awesome. That's around this guy. Basically, it brought us down. It reduced about it was 78% of the time that it took to load the website.
Yes.
And especially when your clients are coming in or stakeholders are coming in. For us, we understand that when we add a URL to something, something has to happen in the background, so that no patients want to see the dot animation. I'll comment on Paul's message here because we do have something coming up around this as well. But as you can see, Paul, this is speed to collaboration is our main KPI in the product. How fast can we get you guys to leave a comment? And so the first thing, the biggest hurdle was the fact that when a client was coming in, it was taking 5, 6, 7 seconds, depending on their internet speed, to actually fetch the website and get them to a place where they can start working. And now that has been reduced by 77%. So this is pretty much now about 2 seconds or so when you add a new when you go to the website for the second time, which means when your clients are coming to the website after you loaded it up. Next is exactly what you're describing. So, Joran, do you want to talk about what we're doing with this?
Yeah,
What's
sure.
the plan with this?
Yeah, sure. So, Paul is talking about when you're adding a task and you add the comment. We have the loader with the three dots, and sometimes, we are essentially waiting for that task to be added or the comment to be added to the database before we display it. So instead, what we're going to start doing is we are going to display the comment and then add it in the background. And there will be a little spinner, but it will feel instant on the client side. And that's coming. I want to do that pretty soon, actually. That'll be coming in the next 2 weeks. So it will feel instant. Task creation will also feel instant, but from our side, we'll be queuing them up. And then, once you're done, the queue will be done, and then all of the tasks and everything will be there. There are some considerations to think about, though, is if you are collaborating on the same site with someone, you don't want to be commenting on top of each other, common IDs getting mixed up because and things like that. So, but it will feel instant. That's what we're trying to do. And we're also messing around with the having live preview of tasks. So instead of having to click on a task, you just hover over the sticker and it will show you the first comment. We're just trying to, make the experience. We want it to be like, and Figma is a big inspiration for us in terms of how the app feels. And of course, their collaboration is not great, but I just mean in terms of the way the app feels, it's very responsive. So anything that feels like it's taking slow to load or to happen for you, we are very much aware of it, and we are trying our best to make it load as quickly as possible.
Okay, awesome. So this is around yeah. So I see George was also commenting on it. The code is in here. We thank you. We thank you for thinking about optimizing. Yes. So everything, it's everything is always a journey, and you got a lot of you guys have been with us. A lot of you folks, people, have been with us from the beginning. So you've gone through this journey with us and see how we're reacting to what is happening. For example, we just finished we just passed the 1 million users mark. That requires a lot of adaptation for the application to make sure that we can serve at that level of scale, which honestly none of us have done before. I
No,
never had an app that had a million people using it.
no, and George, I wasn't thinking about optimizing. I was forced to optimize, and that's the thing. It
Now
wasn't.
yeah.
Now we're thinking about it, yeah, of course, but the initial blow, like literally the server got killed, man. Like it got gunned down, like firing squad in February, and we realized what the hell, like we really need to upgrade it and optimize it. So, and I'll give you a small example. We were running at around 70-80% of our server capacity. Then we went down to 20% when we made some optimizations. Now we're at 2% because of the caching. So now we can downscale the servers and do all sorts of different things. But it was born out of necessity. It was like it was a glaring issue that we weren't seeing until it went completely tits up, which I think is most development is that way, right?
You can look at Twitter
Exactly. Yeah, or
what's
any
going on.
big app. Any big app is it's just you can't predict anything.
Yes.
And the reason I included this was just I thought we could speak about this platform again
Right.
briefly.
So, with our commitment to you all, and our want to be more transparent with our users to make sure, and especially, and we keep talking about scale, we keep talking about scale here, and because this is the main thing that is on our plate as a company right now. How can we scale confidently without disturbing anyone that works with the system? And you can see this happening, and I'm looking at a lot of other companies and applications and see how they're failing at it, and we want to make sure that we don't. So for example, I don't know how many of you, I know that we have a lot of shared use with ClickUp. If you look at the ClickUp Facebook group, it's seeded for almost a year now with people that are complaining about things going down, and the speed is extremely slow, and everything is annoying, and all those kind of things. And it's not only them. There was the same thing with Teamwork for a while as they were scaling up, and you see this happening on many different apps as they get to this milestone. So one of the things that we want to do is we want to communicate with all of you at scale. And this is what this platform is about. Now you can go to innovation.adarim.io, and I saw we all going back to that point. We also had Verdi here joining us from Elemental, and I look to Elemental for a lot of inspiration. And I remember version 3.0, and a lot of us remember the mess that was happening around then, and how you guys Verdi needed to adapt and change the processes internally to make sure that this doesn't happen. And it happens at every scale, even never mind. But the point of this is to be able to make sure that we are all able to communicate with you, and so we can learn from your needs, and whatever is actually giving you the ability to grow your business. We want to make sure that we are there to hear it. Jerome, maybe you want to load this up to show how it looks inside, because
Oh
there's
yeah,
a
of
few
course.
different sections to it. So first of all, we're now transparent about the roadmap, what we're working on, what we're building, what is coming next, what's the plan for this coming year. You can have a look inside innovation.adarim.io and really understand everything that we're gonna be that we are working on in a very transparent and awesome way, in my mind. And we used to have a roadmap before, and then some competitors were coming in here and were stealing some features and things like that. And it was something that was new to me. I wanted to guard this baby that we were working very hard on building, and so we killed the old roadmap as a kind of a reaction to competitors, just like trying to steal ideas. But what can you do?
I think we
I know.
were we were more of an immature company then as well. You know, we were babies too then, I think.
Yes, we
You
were.
know,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
And
Whereas now I
so
feel we're more confident in what we're doing. So I feel like even if someone stole the idea, they're not going to build it like we build it anyway. So they can steal it if they want, sort of thing. It's kind of my attitude towards it.
and I also feel that and this is something that I think I was brought in from the agency days. A lot of times you feel that if you're not getting something, or if someone is doing something, they're actually taking from you. But as you're working with us, as the company grows and scales, it's actually there's so much to go around. There's enough for everyone to enjoy and grow and grow from just being focusing on what matters, which is our users and our team and the offering that keeps expanding every day. Let them still I choose you because the passion from the team behind it. Thank you very much, Mario.
That's,
I
thank you.
appreciate this.
I like your
Yes.
picture. Kind of scared me a bit actually. Your YouTube picture.
We have the roadmap in there where we can communicate to you what we're working on, but there's also an idea board now where you can come in and voice your requests, upvote things that are that were added by different users and as well as added by us, that we are looking for feedback from you to understand what is more important to you and what we should be working on next. And this really does drive our prioritization. We've always built based on user requests. We just went and started doing this in the background a little bit for a couple of years, but it was still very much driven. About 80% of what we build is driven by conversations that we had with users and demo calls and complaints and support queues, support requests, and all of those kind of things. So this will allow everyone to really see what we're doing and ask for new stuff as well.
Yeah. So I highly suggest, going, checking out what we have, upvoting stuff you want, submitting as many ideas as you want. You guys are in the trenches. We used to be an agency. We haven't built a website for a client in 5 years now. So,
Yeah.
you guys know what you want. So, we listen to every bit of feedback we get.
Well, that's true. But even though we still talk to
Of
agencies every
course.
day, you just had a demo call just like
Yes.
an hour ago. I had a couple yesterday, so
Yeah.
we're still very much in tune with who you all are, with who we are, and we make sure that we keep our eyes and our hearts open to whatever is happening in this space. Um, that being said, as we keep growing, there's probably going to be more people that are going to be doing those things coming soon, which means that these things are going to be very valuable for us to understand you all. My two
Definitely.
cents. Many try to do similar things to Adarim. They just can't reach, and they never will because you guys are always innovating, making things better. Thank you very much, George. Yes, always pushing the envelope. Adarim's one of our five core values is to keep innovating, um, and so we just keep pushing the envelope, and then the way that we look at things somehow is a bit different than anything else that is out there. The roadmap looks great. Ryan is saying, I could see myself replacing ClickUp in the future. Yes. And I can tell you, Ryan, that many people have already made that switch. And this is actually one of the common questions. Can I replace my project management system with Adarim? And the answer is maybe. It depends on if you're building only websites or if you're actually doing additional services like maybe SEO or construction, whatever, like a consultancy, all kinds of different processes. Really, our focus is on web, and if the agency is hyper focused on building websites, delivering website support, these kind of things, then you don't need anything else already. But if you're doing some other stuff, project management systems by design are generic. They're trying to serve multiple verticals, multiple types of industries, and therefore they will never be as focused as what we do on specifically the web related stuff. So if you do other stuff, you will need another project management system for sure. But therefore, that's why there's also ways for integrating with everything. And you can already use the integration with ClickUp, Ryan. I hope you do. Next, I think there's only one last thing to say, which is, oh, you're sharing your screen.
Yeah, I'm still sharing my
Ruined
screen.
the thing here, right? But a big announcement that so first of all, thank you all for joining us. One final announcement here before we wrap up this session. The Web Agency Summit is back, and this is gonna be our 4th year. You can sign up for free. And for those that don't know, what is the Web Agency Summit? We are very fortunate to run the largest online event for web agencies and freelancers in the world. By far, it's basically twice as big as the next runner-up. Twice bigger? Twice? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, twice bigger doesn't make sense. Twice as big is how
Twice
you
as
say
big.
that.
That's what I said initially.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
As the next one after us. And this year we're kind of leaning into the concept. Joe, maybe you want to share the page. I'll load up your screen in a second. This year we're leaning into the concept or the kind of vibe of a music festival for our industry. So it's not really a music festival. It's just it feels like that to make it feel a little more fun and engaging. Yes, okay. Nisha saying yes, it is a festival. Okay, I like that. And so let's load up the main landing page, Jerome, the
Yeah,
forecast.
sorry. Yeah.
And really, the idea with the summit is that there's 4 days of sessions, workshops, places where we can meet each other. A sponsor, you can go and interact with sponsors in their own virtual booths. It really is a huge, huge. Oh, we got this. Jerome. Yeah, Jerome is here. Yes, it's a huge gathering of our industry, and I would like to officially invite everyone to come join us on our 4th year. Yes, I like that. A festival of learning and discovery. Exactly. There's going to be more than 40 sessions, 4 days long, or if it's a full week. And we're currently gathering more sponsors and media partners that want to help us support the event. We're literally announcing this right now for the first time. There's going to be an email going out to our list shortly. If you want to speak, you can also apply to talk. The website link is adarim.io/summit. I'll add this link here on screen. One second. It is adarim.io/summit. There it is. Come on in, join completely for free. If you want to access all of the sessions, then there's gonna be a way for you to buy the backstage pass, as we call it, that gives you access to all the sessions, all the replays after the event. But during the event, everything is free, and also 24 hours after a session was broadcast, it's still available in our replays section inside the summit platform itself. Yeah, and let's go and all hang out for the 4th year in a row. It's gonna be really awesome. Here's the link. Yeah, Adarim Summit. Adisha shared this over there. I guess the link can grab mine. Awesome. And we have this one in here. That's it. I think that's the last thing that we have for today.
Yep.
Um, Thanks everyone for joining us on this broadcast. Thank you all for being a user. Thank you all for being part of this journey. Thank you, Jerome, for being my co-founder.
My pleasure.
And have a great evening, everyone.
Thanks, man. Bye, guys.
And happy Women's Day. Right, Disha.